Prichard Colón was an undefeated boxer with 16 wins and 0 losses. 13 of those wins came by knockout.
Stevenson, some people think one of the special fighters of any weight class in the sport, certainly one of the hardest hitters, as Colón starts to pile combinations down and down. Winner by knockout, Prichard.
On October 17th, 2015, Prichard Colón's life would forever change when he was hit in the back of the head with illegal punches and was left in a vegetative state. Now, as I started doing more research about what happened to Prichard Colón, I started asking myself, who was to blame for this? Was it the referee's fault? Was it his opponent's fault, Terrel Williams? Or is this just a testament of how brutal the sport of boxing can truly be? This is the full story of what happened to Prichard Colón.
My name is Prichard Colón. I'm 20 years old. I'm a pro boxer out of Orocovis, Puerto Rico.
2015 started off as a very good year for Prichard, winning a total of 4 fights. Prichard was a top prospect, and not only was he winning, he was continuing to improve his skills as a boxer. At this rate, Prichard was going to be a champion, and with his potential, maybe even boxing's next superstar. In his 5th boxing match of 2015, Prichard Colón would be matched up against Terrel Williams. At the time, they were both undefeated fighters, so it was expected to be a very competitive match. And it was. Late into the first round, Prichard was punched in the back of the head and was visibly very upset.
Williams, he's wearing the blue.
There's that variation of punches, that angle.
Going into the second round, Prichard would continue to take several illegal blows to the back of the head.
Even if it doesn't even look like you're hurting the guy, those body shots will take a toll.
In the third round, Colón was knocked down by a clearly illegal punch to the back of his head. But the ref ruled the knockdown as a slip. But to me, it looked like a clear rabbit punch, which is very illegal, and the ref should have stepped in right then and there and gave Terrel Williams a hard warning to set a precedent for the rest of the fight. Despite the illegal punch, Prichard Colón still finished the round out strong. In the 5th round, Prichard was frustrated after receiving more shots to the back of the head. Prichard eventually hit Terrel Williams with a low blow. Terrel began verbally attacking Prichard.
Right now, he wants to get right back at Prichard Colón.
Are you all right?
When the referee approached Prichard to ask why he hit Terrel with a low blow, Prichard was holding the back of his head, obviously frustrated.
Good for his team, beneficial for the win for him. He's got a lot of energy and anger in him. Let's turn that into some punches.
And how can you blame Prichard for throwing a low blow? At this point in time, he's taken several illegal punches to the back of the head. The referee hasn't stepped in and gave Terrel Williams a hard warning, but the second Prichard starts to fight a little dirty, the ref stops the fight and penalizes Prichard Colón. In the 6th round of the fight, the referee would finally warn both fighters to keep the fight clean, but Colón would still take a few more punches to the back of his head.
On Colón. And I think the extra antics.
Despite all the illegal punches Prichard was hit with, he was still winning the fight on the judges' scorecard. And physically, he looked good. He was showing off his speed and his power. Until the 7th round, Prichard started to slow down significantly.
And maybe it's just this moment, but does Colón look like he's slowing down a little bit, Steve?
He slowed down.
It was clear that all the rabbit punches started to take effect. But that didn't stop Terrel from landing a huge rabbit punch that sent Prichard to the canvas.
Motivation. He wants to win.
The people in attendance began booing Prichard, thinking it was an act, but it was clear Prichard was in pain.
The crowd is furious right now. The ref calls time. He's saying he took a shot to the back of
The
the head.
commentators of the fight even joked about Prichard pretending.
How did you see that one?
There's another Academy Award here, man. We're throwing awards all over the place.
I don't know if an Academy Award, maybe an Emmy for this one.
Okay.
This one's not quite as convincing.
Prichard spent about 5 minutes holding the back of his head. He looked dizzy. It looked like he could hardly stand. And even after all of that, the fight wasn't stopped. 1 point was taken away from Terrel. The ringside doctor briefly checked on Prichard and decided Prichard could still fight. So the fight was continued. In the 8th and 9th round, the rabbit punches continued, and Prichard got dropped 2 more times at the ending of the 9th round.
Williams is unloading on Colón. He puts him down.
That's a knockdown.
Absolutely.
How to deal with the guy like
Again.
Somehow Prichard managed to survive and still wanted to fight. He was a true warrior. Going into the 10th round and final round of the fight, Prichard Colón's corner started taking the gloves off of Prichard. They thought the fight was over. When they realized they still had 1 round in the fight, they tried putting the gloves back on Prichard. But ultimately, the referee called the fight off, and Prichard was disqualified. The 2 fighters did embrace after the fight, despite all the trash talk and illegal punches. Not too long after the fight, Colón's corner claimed Prichard was incoherent, dizzy, and then started vomiting. He was then taken to the hospital where he was diagnosed with brain bleeding and needed emergency surgery to drain the blood and reduce the swelling around the brain. Then things got worse when Colón would fall into a coma for 221 days and would wake up in a vegetative state. In 2017, Colón's parents filed a lawsuit for $50 million. The lawsuit states that Dr. Ashby, the ringside doctor who cleared Prichard to continue fighting, may have been motivated for the fight to continue, claiming that he had promotional interest in the fight. But the lawsuit has not been settled, and unfortunately, it may never be settled. The referee and ringside physician were both private vendors, and as a result, they were exempt from any threat of punishment and legally can't be held responsible. In a September 2017 interview, Terrel Williams discussed his role in Colón's injury. "I pray for Prichard every day. That's never going to change. I wish him nothing but peace and health. No one wants what happened to Prichard to happen to anybody. All boxers are brothers." As of 2022, it's unclear how much Colón can recover, but he has made progress, and his family continues to keep everyone updated through social media. In an interview with ESPN, Prichard Colón's father said this: "The doctors don't give us hope. They say that he's got a mark on the CT scan that shows a black spot too large for him to recuperate. But Colón's family hasn't given up on Prichard." My thoughts. It's hard to believe that no one is being held responsible for Prichard. Not the company who held the fight and profited off the fight, not Terrel Williams, who's gone on to continue to have a career, not the doctor, not the referee. No one can be legally held responsible. So now Prichard Colón's family is financially responsible for expensive surgeries, expensive physical therapy, and even though they sued for $50 million, it doesn't sound like that lawsuit has gone anywhere. Prichard Colón's life will never be the same, and more than likely, no one will be held responsible.